Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any need today, just save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Let's see. Whoa, now this has changed a lot since I was young. National Prom Proposal Day. Prom Proposal Day. It's gotten to be a whole lot different than when I was younger. You know?
It is what it is.
But does it surprise you that this was created by Men's Warehouse? No, it doesn't surprise me at all. It's also National Oatmeal Nut Waffle Day. National Oatmeal Nut Waffle Day. I don't know about that one. But, you know, something, you put enough blueberries or strawberries on there, put a little whipped cream on it, and you've got it made. Let's see what the markets are doing today. Very, very volatile in the markets. It's not for the faint of heart right now, just because it's all about what's going on in the Middle East. Can't say it's a war, it's a conflict. I know that some of the loons get very concerned over words, because the Korean War was not a war. It was a conflict because it wasn't designated as such by Congress. So when people are getting all bent out of shape because the president says, oh, it's a war, well, it just describes what it is. You know, that's what's going on. It's not a technical term in that sense. It's just a descriptor. But right now we're looking, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 479 points. The S&P 500 is down 41. I'm sorry, the NASDAQ is down 41. The S&P 500 is down 28. Oil's up $4.43 a barrel. Gold is down 17 cents an ounce. Do we want to look and see what gas prices are doing? Gavin's gas prices. You know, I love listening to this guy. He can make more excuses than anything I've ever seen. Now it's Trump's fault that the gas prices in California are $2 a gallon more than the national average. What does Trump have to do with California gas prices? That's all Gavin. It's all him and his fees and his taxes and his ambivalence to caring at all about the people of the state of California. I mean, he just got a letter from the head of Chevron saying that California is too difficult to do business in and they're going to move out. Did he respond? No, because he doesn't care. Valero's already closing down their plant. Another one's closing down their plants. So instead of California being able to produce our own energy, we're going to have to import it, either other states or other countries, because of Gavin, not because of anybody else, but because of Gavin. And I'm looking right now. The average for a gallon of gasoline in the state of California, $5.34 a gallon. The average for the United States, $3.58 a gallon. So California is way above, almost $2 a gallon more than the national average and it's just because of California policy, regardless of what Gavin lies to us about. It's just amazing that this guy can lie so many times and nobody ever comes out and just says it straight out to him. But hey, you know something?
You know better than that.
Yeah, you know better than to believe the garbage that comes out of this guy. So we just have to deal with it. And I heard that there's another cap and trade deal coming on that's supposed to add another $1 a gallon in taxes and fees. So I think that's coming out the beginning of next year. So we keep on watching our prices go up, and you wonder, why is it that we keep voting for the same people over and over to get the same thing, get these results? It's our own fault that we do these things, but I feel like sometimes I'm the lone voice out there. Now I know that there are two folks that are running for governor, both Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco. They both get it. They understand what's really driving these things. But the problem is both of them have an R after their name, and the voters of California can't, maybe they don't understand the alphabet past D, right? So if you've got the letter D after your name, you can win. Unbelievable. It's just crazy. And you and I have to suffer it. And they keep saying, well, it's all about the rich. I mean, you listen to this character, Tom Steyer. Half the ads that he puts out that he's talking about what he's going to do. He has no authority, even as governor, to do any of it. So he can spend all the millions and millions or billions of dollars that he wants to spend on advertising. But if he can't do any of it, does it really matter? Right? He has no authority. He says he's gonna change the tax code. Well, he can change state tax, but he can't change federal tax. And he can only change the state tax if he's got the legislature with him. Right? He's not a dictator. It doesn't work that way, no matter what any of these politicians say. I mean, you look at it even right now. Why is it that we're in the middle of this war or conflict in Iran? I just saw something come across my desk that there was a cyber attack in Michigan attributed to Iran. Yet the Democrats don't want to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Now, I know, I hear this all the time. Well, the Republicans control both houses. No, the Republicans have the majority of both houses. If you don't have 60 votes, like in California, you don't get to do what you want. California has a supermajority, so the Democrats get to do whatever they want. In Congress, in the Senate, if you don't have 60 votes, you don't control the Senate. You might have a majority of the Senate. You might have a say over the agenda of the Senate, but you don't control the legislation coming out of the Senate or what's getting approved. You need to have some. So you get 99% of the Republicans agree, and you can't get 5% of the Democrats to agree. That's where the problem comes in. I remember you needed 10% of the Democrats to go along with the majority, with all the Republicans. But it's the Democrats that are keeping this closed. Now, if you're getting ready to travel for spring break, if you're getting ready to travel with your family, expect longer lines. TSA, how long do you think those folks, it's almost another month. They did this once already at the end of last year when the Democrats did this. It's almost going to be another month. And you watch these things and you say, okay, how long do you expect these people to continue to go to work? I know they're essential. How long do you expect these folks to go to work and not get paid on time? Just throw that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, tax seasons and strategic planning, VA loan myths. Spring buying is here, and if your house isn't selling, well, you're not following the rules from Ron Siegel Radio. And we'll talk about all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 0186945. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Ron Siegel Radio.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, and every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual lock rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, shame on you, because we give them to you for free all the time. rsrlinks.com/calculators, rsrlinks.com/calculators. Just go ahead and get it for free. Let's take a look and see what rates did yesterday. Okay, we've got the chart right here. I'm trying to do this on my own. Josh is not feeling well today, so please forgive my .06. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.298. That was up. FHA 30-year fix, 5.859. That was down. VA 30-year fix, 5.736. That was down. USDA 30-year fix, 5.785. That one was down. So it looks like we had a good day yesterday. It was very, very volatile yesterday. If you want our thoughts about the market each and every business day morning as early as the data allows, we do put that content into our Ron Siegel Radio community. You can join that, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. You can see the community right there. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. I guess I'm supposed to push this button right there. Okay. So we've got the S&P 500 is down 25.37. The most important number on the screens today, oil's up $4.57 a barrel at 88.02. We're looking at the 10-year Treasury. That one is 4.212. That one's up 5 basis points, going crazy, going up at a lot. And we're looking at the mortgage bond. That one's down 11 basis points. Remember, bond down, rates up, and that is at 99.38. What is driving all of this? That's really the more important thing. What's driving it? Because we can take a look at all these numbers, and we do, but they're all available on the super secret website, google.com. What you come here for is to see what's driving it. What are we watching? What's going to change? Should I be making a transaction now? Should I be waiting? All of those issues come as we learn more and more of what's really driving the market. And we got a lot of data today, but it's not meaning a whole heck of a lot. It's all being driven by oil prices and what's happening in Iran. Oil prices have continued to drive the market and had a volatile day yesterday. At one point, WTI, that's West Texas Intermediary, moved as low as $77 a barrel on good news that the war could be ending soon. But then a series of bad headlines caused oil prices to move about $10 higher. There were reports that Iran was mining the Strait of Hormuz, a false story that initially said the U.S. successfully escorted an oil tanker, and news out of Europe that a few cargo ships were struck. Headlines caused fears that the war may not be as close to ending as some had hoped, causing oil to rise and a turn in yields. Some good news is that the G7 countries and International Energy Agency are proposing potential releasing 300 million barrels of oil. That was what the conversation was when I was writing this morning. I think it turned out that they're releasing 400 million barrels of oil. I'm trying to find that on the news stream here, but I'm not seeing it real quick. But I think they're releasing 400 million barrels. That's about a 15 or 20 day supply. But why is that important? Because if they do release that, and we do see that 15 or 20 day supply, what that's going to mean is it gives time either for the war to end or to find alternate routes, which is what the market is really looking for, is if they can get some alternate routes, which I know Saudi Arabia is already working on alternate routes. We got the consumer price index for January. Generally, this would be market moving, but again, it takes a back seat to the conflict overseas. Headline inflation was reported at 0.3% in line with estimates. Year over year, headline inflation remained at 2.4%, which is a low figure and exactly as expected. The most important core reading, which strips out food and energy prices, rose 0.2% in February. Year over year, core inflation remained at 2.5%. Both the monthly and yearly readings were as expected. A 2.5% core reading is a good figure and shows where inflation was ahead of the oil crisis in March, but did not get a lot of attention due to what's happening now. Shelter, very cooperative. The shelter index rose 0.2% in the month, with rent rising 0.1%, the lowest monthly increase in 5 years. Owner's equivalent rent rose by 0.2%, also well behaved. Lodging away from home, which measures things like hotels and Airbnbs, rose by almost 1%, which caused a slight increase in shelter inflation. Shelter remained at 3% year over year due to some low comparisons from 2025, but the lower shelter readings are a good sign that the housing disinflation should continue this year. And we did get mortgage applications from the Mortgage Bankers Association showing that interest rates rose from 6.09% to 6.19% in their survey. Purchases saw another weekly increase, rising by 8% and are now up 11% year over year. Refinances rose 1% and are up 81% year over year. Adjustable rate mortgages made up 9% of total transactions, the highest percentage in several reports, and remain a good option if you have an attractive product. So that is the the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So let's see. I think we're going to do Borrow Smart. Oh, let's not do that. Let's go over here and do a real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Spring is here. And if buying or selling a home is on your radar this year, the next few months may be the most important window you have. The question is, are you ready? I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Welcome to real-time real estate right here on Ron Siegel Radio. Every spring, the housing market wakes up. More listings hit the market, more buyers start shopping, and competition picks up fast. That's just the nature of the season. And whether you're thinking about buying your first home or selling the one you're in, knowing what to expect before you step into that arena makes all the difference. So today, I want to walk you through what buyers and sellers need to know right now and share two brand new resources we just put together specifically for this spring market. For buyers, if you're thinking about buying a home this spring, let me be honest with you, the market is active. There's more inventory than we've seen in a while, which is good news. But more inventory also means more competition from other buyers who've been waiting just like you. Buyers who win in this market aren't necessarily the ones with the most money. They're the ones who are prepared. There's a big difference between being eligible for a loan and being truly ready to buy. Eligibility means a lender says yes. Readiness means you walk into the process knowing your numbers, understanding your options, and having a strategy. That's especially true for first-time buyers. If this is your first home, there are programs, strategies, and steps that many buyers never hear about because nobody took the time to explain them. We put together a first-time home buyer's guide specifically for people in your shoes. You can grab that at rsrlinks.com/FTHB. That's rsrlinks.com/FTHB. And if you like a more complete spring buyer's guide covering today's market, what to expect and what to watch out for and how to position yourself, that's available at rsrlinks.com/HBG. rsrlinks.com/HBG for sellers. Now, if you're on the other side of this, think about selling your home this spring. Here's what I want you to understand. The spring market rewards sellers who are strategic. Simply putting a sign in the yard and hoping for the best is not a plan. One of the biggest mistakes sellers make is underestimating the importance of exposure. The more eyes on your property, the stronger the offers you attract. We work with an ad platform that gets your property in front of a massive audience, far beyond what a standard listing delivers. When more qualified buyers see your home, you have more choices, and more choices mean better terms for you. We also walk through pricing strategy, timing, and how to position your home so it stands out, not just sits there. If you want to understand what a smart selling strategy looks like in today's market, get a copy of our Spring Seller's Guide at rsrlinks.com/HSG. rsrlinks.com/HSG. And for a deeper look at how to get maximum exposure, top dollar for your home, rsrlinks.com/salesmax. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. Bottom line, whether you're buying or selling, spring moves fast. The families who come out ahead are the ones who took the time to get informed, get prepared, and work with people who know what they're doing. Start by getting your financial house in order. Visit rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. And take the first step toward a smarter move this spring. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, VA loan myths busted. If your house isn't getting offers, we'll tell you what to do. And tax season and strategies, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We got a workshop for you today, Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/VA loan, rsrlinks.com/VA loan. If a real estate agent told you VA loans are harder to close, weaker offers, and more trouble than they're worth, they were wrong. And today we're going to prove it, one myth at a time. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor and veteran mortgage advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, and whether you're a veteran, an active duty service member, or somebody who loves one, this show is for you today. I've been doing this since 1983, and all that time, few things frustrate me more than watching a veteran get steered away from the best loan product available to them because somebody in the transaction didn't know what they were talking about. So today, let's fix that. Let's talk about the VA home loan, because after more than 4 decades in this business, I still hear the same myths being passed around like they're facts. And those myths are costing veterans the homes they've earned the right to buy. Myth number 1, VA buyers don't have skin in the game because they put zero down. Here's what the data actually shows. The average VA buyer in 2024 had a higher credit score and more money in the bank than the average FHA buyer. Not a little higher, meaningfully higher. And yet veterans are being steered away from using a benefit they literally served to earn. Think about that for a moment. A veteran who spent years in uniform, who put their life on hold, and in many cases put their life on the line, comes home, wants to buy a house, and gets told their loan is weak. That's not a VA problem, that's an education problem. Myth number 2, VA loans take forever to close. When you're working with a lender who actually knows the product, VA loans close in the same time frame as conventional loans, sometimes faster. The appraisal process can add time to some markets, but a competent lender accounts for that up front and manages the timeline accordingly. This myth exists because of lenders who don't know the process, not because of anything built into the loan itself. Myth number 3, the seller always gets stuck paying the veteran's fees. This one has some nuance to it, so let me break it down simply. The VA does have non-allowable fees, costs the veteran cannot pay, but only when a lender's origination charges exceed 1% of the loan amount. When you work with a lender who structures this transaction correctly, this is a non-issue. The problem isn't the VA loan. The problem is the lender who doesn't know what they're doing and ends up making the veteran's offer look weaker than it actually is. Myth number 4, VA appraisals kill deals. The VA process actually has some built-in protections that other loan types do not have. You are protected. There's a process called Tidewater that gives everyone a chance to provide additional information before a low value is assigned. And if you still disagree with the appraisal, there's a formal reconsideration of value process. In fact, the conventional lending world is currently studying how to adopt a similar model. So the loan type that supposedly has the worst appraisal process is the one everyone else is trying to copy. Let that sink in. Now, here's something that I want every veteran listening to understand. There is a real difference between a lender who accidentally closes 2 VA loans a year and one who has studied, trained, and made VA lending their focus. That difference shows up when your offers get accepted. It shows up when another lender tells your veteran they don't qualify, and the right lender finds out they actually do. Here's something else worth knowing. 87% of VA loan usage nationwide comes from veterans, not active duty service members. So even if you live nowhere near a military base, there are veterans in your community who have earned this benefit and may not know how to use it. They may not know they could be exempt from the VA funding fee because of a disability rating. They may not know there are property tax exemptions in their state that could save them thousands of dollars every single year. They may not realize that being eligible for a VA loan and actually qualifying for one are 2 completely different conversations, and that understanding the difference is exactly where the right advisor earns their place at the table. And here's one more thing worth mentioning. If you are a surviving spouse of a veteran who passed away as a result of their service, you may have your own VA home loan benefit. It's one of the most underused and least talked about benefits in the entire program. If that describes your situation, please reach out. That conversation alone could change everything for you. So what's your next step? If you're a veteran, active duty service member, or a surviving spouse, and you want to understand what's actually earned, go to rsrlinks.com/VA loan. That's rsrlinks.com/VA loan. And if you want to get your overall financial house in order before you buy, whether you're a veteran or not, start at rsrlinks.com/key steps. That's rsrlinks.com/key steps. Don't let a myth stand between you and a benefit that you've earned. Strategy beats rate always. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor and veteran mortgage advisor. Thanks for listening to Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/VA loan, rsrlinks.com/VA loan. And you should be going into that and taking a look at it There's a lot of great information at rsrlinks.com/VA loan. There's a whole series of short videos that I did talking about different aspects of the VA loan and how many people don't really understand all of them. So just go over there, get your copy of it, and take a look at rsrlinks.com/VA loan. Well, a lot of love it. I didn't hit the timer, so I am off on my time right now, but this is what we're going to do. We'll figure it out anyway. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, if your house isn't getting offers, listen up. And tax season and strategic debt planning. We'll talk about both of those and more. Reach me anytime, off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron
Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. It's tax season, and while most people are scrambling to find receipts and figure out what they owe, the smartest households are doing something completely different. They're asking a better question. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management, and you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio. Every year around this time, I get calls from people who just sat down with their tax preparer and had one of these wait a minute moments. Maybe they realized they paid more in taxes than they needed to. Maybe they found out their estate isn't set up the way they thought it was. Or maybe, and this one surprises people, they discovered that the way their debt is structured is actually costing them more than it should. Here's what I want you to understand today. Tax season isn't just about filing a return. It's about taking an inventory of your entire financial picture, and debt is a big part of that picture. Now, I'm not a tax advisor, and I'm not going to pretend to be one. What I am is a certified liability advisor. And what that means is I look at the liability side of your household balance sheet the same way a good financial advisor looks at your assets. Let me ask you something. Do you know your household blended interest rate? Not just your mortgage rate, not just your car payment, but the combined cost of all the debt flowing out of your household every single month. Most people don't. And that number matters a lot, especially when you're sitting down with a tax professional trying to figure out where your money went. Here's another thing worth thinking about right now. The lifetime gift and estate tax exemption is currently sitting at nearly $14 million. That sounds like a lot. And for most families, it is. But here's the part that doesn't make the headlines. That number is set to drop significantly at the end of this year when certain provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act are scheduled to sunset. If you have a home with equity assets you've been building or a family you want to protect, now is not the time to wait and see. I work alongside trusted estate planning attorneys who help families get this right. There's no cost to have that conversation. These professionals are compensated by the carriers, and they do the work, not you. But you have to take the first step. And honestly, tax season is a perfect time to do it. You've got your documents out. You're thinking about money. You think about what you owe and what you own. That's exactly the mindset you need to take a serious look at your complete financial picture. So here's what I want you to do today. Two things. First, visit rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps, and take a few moments to get your financial house in order. It's a simple tool that helps you see where you stand and what steps make sense for your situation. Second, if estate planning is something you've been putting off, and most people have, go to rsrlinks.com/estate, rsrlinks.com/estate, and let's get you connected with somebody who can help protect what you've worked so hard to build. Remember, strategy beats rate always. And right now, the best strategy you can have is simply paying attention. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. Let's see, real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. If your house isn't getting offers, listen up. Online searches for can't sell house just hit an all-time high according to Google Trends. So if your house has been sitting on the market without any bites, you're not the only one, but it's also not the end of the road. Homes are selling every day, so you can turn this around. You just need to take another look. You need a new approach. You need somebody who really understands what's going on in the market. So if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart of searches for quote unquote can't sell house reach an all-time high. If you're feeling this pain, know this. An online search engine isn't where you should go for answers. It's much better to talk to your agent, because a search engine doesn't know your market or your house, but your agent does. So you got to chat with them. While a quick search or an AI platform may give you some tips on what to try, only an expert agent can actually diagnose what's going on and how to fix it. For example, your agent knows most homes that struggle to sell today are usually being held back by one or more of these things. One, presentation. Buyers will compare everything. When inventory was tight a few years ago, buyers overlooked imperfections because they had to, or they lose out to another bidder. Now, that's no longer the case. Today's buyers scroll through dozens of listings in just minutes. They compare conditions, updates, lighting, finishes, layout, and more, all side by side. If your home feels dated, cluttered, or in need of repairs, buyers will notice, and it'll knock your house right off the list of contenders. And I'm going to tell you something. I spent yesterday with the number one training person for real estate agents in America. And he had a very, very central theme that he was sharing yesterday. And I'm going to share it with you, share a little bit of that theme with you today, just because, you know, we saw a lot of things going on in the housing market in the last several years. But a lot of what went on in the last several years, I'm trying to find the exact wording that he used yesterday. A lot of what went on in the last several years had more to do with COVID and an anomaly. It really wasn't what was really happening in the market. We had homes that were selling way quicker than what we could have expected. We had people putting a house up for unrealistic pricing and getting it. We had interest rates that were out of whack. I mean, the Federal Reserve gave us interest rates that were way below what the real market should have been, what the real market showed. So we all started thinking, okay, in 2019, this is reality. And 2019 was not reality. It was all fake. It was all artificial. That's the key word to remember, is artificial. So when we saw the days on the market, it was artificial. When we saw the existing homes, the month supply, 2.6, artificial. Existing homes, inventory. We saw everything there. It was all a bunch of artificial numbers. And I want you to understand that the great real estate agents, they do understand that. Number two, pricing. If the pricing isn't compelling, it's not selling. Again, artificial pricing back in 2019. This is maybe the hardest one to hear. But what your neighbor sold their house for a few years ago isn't necessarily the same price you'll get today, as Selma Happ, chief economist at Cotality, says, quote, for sellers, the days of pricing aggressively and expecting instant offers are largely over. Homes that are well priced and well presented will still sell, but pricing discipline matters more than it did during boom years, unquote. Buyers are budget conscious right now. If your home is priced based on outdated expectations instead of current demand, buyers may still look at your house online, but they likely won't write an offer, or they'll make an offer that you think is too low. Pricing too low for this market is one of the top things sellers miss the mark on today. And those who aren't willing to meet the market where it is or entertain offers may feel stuck. Don't forget about our tool, rsrlinks.com/salesmax. rsrlinks.com/salesmax. Get the most money for your property. Number three, access. If buyers can't see it, they can't buy it. It sounds obvious, but limited showing availability can kill your momentum. If your house isn't easy to see because you're restricting showings to evenings only, no weekends, or requiring a 24-hour notice, you're cutting your buyer pool down by more than you may realize. And the more friction you create, the fewer buyers walk through the door. In a market where buyers have more options, the last thing you want to do is give them a reason to skip your house. Availability matters because if one sees it, one buys it. Don't let search results decide your next step. When your house isn't selling, it's tempting to spiral and wonder if it's the market or if something's wrong with the house. But instead of searching for answers online, here's what you need to do. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. Let me make sure that you have an agent who is experienced. I've got a report card on all of them. A lot of times, if you're going for the discount agent, you're getting a discount service, a discount job. Sit down with your agent, ask 3 honest questions. What are buyers looking for in today's market? What feedback are we getting from showings? Why do you think my house hasn't sold yet? How many views are you getting on social media? Because there's a lot of people that do their search based on what they see on social. The conversation brings a lot more clarity than any search engine results. Bottom line, if your listing feels stuck, it's not a sign you shouldn't sell. It's the market giving you feedback. And feedback is powerful when you use it. Start with a real conversation with a real agent about what's working and what's not. Your agent will be able to tell you which small adjustments could totally change the momentum, because in this market, the sellers who adapt are the ones who move. That is Real-Time Real Estate, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.